G20 के लोकाचार पर आधारित दुनिया में शांति की संस्कृति को बढ़ावा देने के लिए विज्ञान, धर्म और तत्वज्ञान की अनूठी तथा ऐतिहासिक 9वीं वैश्विक संसद वाराणसी के श्री काशी विश्वनाथ धाम कॉरिडोर में आयोजित की गई थी। सर्वश्रेष्ठ वैज्ञानिक और आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान तथा तत्व ज्ञान को एक साथ लाते हुए शांति तथा सद्भावना की संस्कृति को बढ़ावा देने और एक शांति प्रिय समग्र वैश्विक समाज का विकास करने के तरीकों पर इन 3 दिवसीय संसद में चर्चा हुई। काशी में आने वाले तीर्थयात्रियों तथा भक्तों की आसान आवाजाही के लिए प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी द्वारा बनाए गए काशी विश्वनाथ कॉरिडोर को विश्वधर्मी प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ कराट जी ने काशी विश्वनाथ ज्ञान कॉरिडोर का रूप दे दिया और यहीं पर संपन्न हुई विज्ञान, धर्म और तत्वज्ञान को समर्पित 9वीं वैश्विक संसद। अक्षरधाम श्री स्वामीनारायण मंदिर अहमदाबाद से आए समाज परिवर्तक स्वामी ज्ञानवत्सल जी ने अपने विचारों से सभी को सम्मोहित किया।
गुणातीतोऽक्षरं ब्रह्म भगवान पुरुषोत्तमः जनो जानन्निदं सत्यं मुच्यते भवबन्धना। With prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, my Guru Hari, Param Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and my Pragat Guru Hari, Param Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, my heartiest namaskar, good afternoon, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, and Jai Swami Narayan, especially to the founder president of MIT World Peace University, Dr. Vishwanath Karatji, the organizer of this conference, distinguished guests and spiritual luminaries on the dais, and all the science and religion loving people sitting in the audience. Well, the theme of today's conference, the 9th World Parliament of Science, Religion, Spirituality and Philosophy, to promote the culture of peace. Based on the ethos of G20, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the theme has been perfectly selected because today in the 21st century, we need a combination of science and spirituality. As the great scientist Albert Einstein used to rightly say, that science without religion is lame and religion without science is blind. So we need a combination of both. If we don't have this combination, what happens? As my ex-speaker, he rightly mentioned that right from early childhood we need to teach them the values of spirituality. Only then with the combination of science that they can bring peace and harmony upon this earth. You would be surprised to know that more than 30,000 scientists all over the world are busy in making bombs and missiles. जो बंदूक की बात है आपने बहुत की, जो बात बहुत सही है. 30,000 scientists all over the world are busy working 12-16 hours a day, making bombs and missiles and weapons of mass destruction. So these weapons are not made by illiterate people. They are made by some of the finest graduates from some of the finest universities in the world. But they didn't have the touch of spirituality, the influence of spirituality and religion in their lives. So they are making bombs and missiles to wipe out human populations from upon this earth. So science needs spirituality. So we have ethical scientists. Imagine if these 30,000 scientists during the times of Corona had left aside their job of making bombs and trying to find some solutions for Corona, the world would not have lost 2 years. But they did not get that ethical sense of helping mankind just for the reason that they did not have the touch of spirituality during their science graduation days. This conference is meant for that. This thought process is meant for that. Many years back in Pune, more than about 50 vice chancellors of different universities of our country that come together. And the conclusion after 3 days of brainstorming sessions was, that we need to introduce religions, philosophy, spirituality in our curriculums in schools and colleges. So right from early childhood they should be bred like that. But many years back this thought process now has fructified and we see it well in NEP 2020 that would give us ethical education. It's a wonderful step by the government of India which is now very decisive. It is a wonderful step by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Bhai Modi, which will not only accelerate the path of India towards being a developed country by 2047, it will also accelerate the path of India by becoming a Jagat Guru. India will become a developed country, India will become a superpower, and India will become a Jagat Guru because we have those ethos. So science and spirituality should have a combination. Great scientists have talked about this. Scientist Werner von Braun, who discovered this, the Saturn rockets which put satellites into space. He writes in his biography, I am quoting him word to word and letter to letter, that only with God reinstated in the hearts and minds of people will He protect us from the dangers of technological revolution. On the other hand, spirituality has a big role to play. Many a times I say that modern science is increasingly proving the methods, the thought process of spirituality right. For example, Shankaracharya ji taught us Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam Bhaj Mudmate. Chant the holy name of God for peace. The same thing is proved by science. At the University of Philadelphia, at the University of Pennsylvania, Dr. Andrew Newberg, Dr. H.G. Going, they jointly experimented. Absolutely a scientific experiment on the chanting of the holy name of God, that is Bhaj Govindam. By psychoneurosoftwares, they experimented on 4,000 people. They had their MRIs, they had their mind mapping. They were asked to chant the holy name of God and whichever form of God that they believed in. For about 12 minutes, experiment conducted for 8-10 times for 5-7 weeks. Again by psychoneurosoftwares version 2.0, again they are chanting. During the chanting of the holy name, they are mind mapping and their MRIs were done, and the conclusion report states that when you chant the holy name of God, the hormones that are released in your body, what advantage do you have? And Dr. Andrew Newberg, Dr. H.G. Going, they say that when you chant the holy name of God, our psychoneurosoftwares, they tell that the hormones that are released in your body, what do they give you? Those children in the age group of 4 to 12, when they chant the holy name of God, there was a surprising, benefiting and a pleasant experience of 17 to 25% increase in their memory power. The youngsters had an advantage of increase in their willpower and confidence. The middle-aged people had an advantage that they could increase their buffer capacity, that is the capacity to absorb shocks of life. And the old-age people, surprisingly but pleasantly, they had an increase of 25 to 35% in the strength of their immune system. So Shankaracharya ji was right when he said Bhaj Govindam, because this university proved that when you chant the holy name of God, you have such advantages that gives you inner peace, you have advantages that benefits your personality and character. And when you have your buffer capacity increased, you increase the harmony in your family and harmony in the society. So now this is a proven fact. See, what does science tell you when you go into stress? The same thing has been taught by spirituality decades back, centuries back, and ages back. When you go into stress, you are given stress pills that calms you down, that cools you down. When you go into stress, two hormones are released in your body. One is cortisol and second is epinephrine. What does these two hormones do? They increase your heart rate. You start perspiring. The blood pressure increases, perspiration increases. This is what cortisol and epinephrine does. Now the scientific experiment of spirituality is, when you are into stress and when this cortisol and epinephrine are high in your body, when you start chanting the holy name of God, Nam Smaran, another hormone called endorphin is produced in your body without the pill, without the medical pill. Endorphin is produced, which suppresses the effect of epinephrine and cortisol, and you feel calmness and goodness. So we need spirituality and science as a combination to bring peace and harmony. This combination of science and spirituality definitely benefits personally, individually, benefits the family, benefits the society, and benefits humanity at large. So our Guruji Pramukh Swami Maharaj, whose centenary celebrations we celebrated. I come from the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, which is one of the largest organizations in the world with a permanent seat in the United Nations. You might all have visited Swaminarayan Akshardham at Delhi. Our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj used to define Dharma in very simple words. Paraspar Priti Prasraya Dharma. He used to say, in the good of others lies our own. This is how harmony and peace is achieved through spirituality. In the good of others lies our own. So, science and spirituality, they are not just friends. They are real brothers. Rather, more than that, they are couplets. And when they go hand in hand, it can be peace and harmony upon this earth. We pray on this occasion in this holy city of Varanasi, in the presence of all dignified luminaries, and more importantly Dr. Vishwanath Kararji and the MIT World Peace University when they organized this event, that may this message travel far and wide in the hearts and minds of people. Thank you.